We all wish you were here in person. Thank you so much for making the link. And if you could just introduce yourself, because you'll introduce yourself better than I would. And we look forward to hearing your introductory and welcome talks. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Liz. And please confirm you can hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely, loud and clear.
No, I'm really, really sorry. I can't be with you in person today. Unfortunately, I did not demonstrate adequate social ties to convince the UK officer that I would return to Zimbabwe after the conference. But I'm so glad to be part of this important conversation, even from a distance. So I am the vice chair of the Global Summit, and I'm based in Zimbabwe at the Center for Sexual Health and HIV/AIDS Research, leading a portfolio of studies on climate adaptation and mitigation, and also do a bit of lecturing at the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. So I just wanted to share a few reflections on this session, because what you're about to hear is not just a set of presentations, it's a provocation. So it's a map of where the field is going and where it urgently needs to go. And like Liz said, this session asks a big, important question: what actually works in situ? And when it comes to heat adaptation, what should we prioritize? Not just in labs or models, but in homes, in workplaces, in clinics, in communities, etc. And just as importantly, what will it take for that evidence to convince policymakers to act? And we'll begin with Jane Smallcombe, who will take us into the world of factory workers in Bangladesh. So their focus is on the physiological reality of heat stress, how it's felt in the body, how it reduces productivity, and how we might design better environments. So what I appreciate here is how they connect data with decision-making, working not only with academia, but also with industry actors. So what actually works and how do you do that? That's the question that he's going to answer. And in his presentation, we're going to hear about reminders that workplace adaptation isn't just a technical fix. It's a governance, it's an accountability issue, it's a planning issue, and it's a policy issue. Then from there, we are going to turn to Celeste Madondo from South Africa, who's presenting work from the High Horizons and HAPPY project. The High Horizons is funded by the European Commission, and HAPPY is funded by Wellcome Trust. And her studies are also close to my heart, and I'm part of that project. She brings us into the world of pregnant women navigating extreme heat in Southern Africa. Her work powerfully shows that heat is not just a climate problematic. It's a maternal, newborn health crisis. And what Celeste's contribution helps us to see is that women's experiences, especially in pregnancy, offer a deeply humane and urgent entry for driving policy action. We have seen this from HIV in low-income settings, that when you center women, you're likely going to achieve most of the planned activities, but we'll hear more from what she's got to offer. Then from her, we are going to hear from Professor Martina Maggioni, whose work combines sensor technologies, home interventions, and smart design thinking. So what stands out here is the shift from large-scale infrastructure to household-scale resilience. It's technical, but also profoundly social. The challenge she surfaces, at least from the conversations that we've had, is one I often see, is how we move from innovation to equity. It's not just whether these tools exist, but who has access and under what conditions. Then we go on to Dr. Anna Bonnell, who's based in the Gambia, and she takes us to the issue around her GAP study. Her work looks at how women respond to heat in their daily lives, especially during pregnancy. And what I find compelling here is the focus on behavioral adaptation in constrained settings. And it reminds us that change doesn't just come from awareness, it comes from having the space, the time, and support to act. And when women don't have those things, no intervention will be enough. Now, when we bring all these pieces together, I think the question becomes, how do we go from knowing what works to making it work at scale, with justice and care at the center? The one thing that emerged from the Climate and Health Africa conference held in Zimbabwe last year was we need interventions now. We need to act now. We need solutions now. So because each speaker today shows us something important, now it's thinking about the synthesis, the stitching together on what works and how we need to move from pilot to policy. So this session really gets to the heart of what I think climate and health field must do next, particularly where heat adaptation and mitigation is concerned. First, prioritize the most affected, build solutions from the ground up, and make sure that what we fund, test, and scale is locally relevant and politically feasible and possible. So I want to invite you to listen today, not just for the answers, but for entry points, for the insights, strategies, and collaborations that can help all of us build a cooler, safer, and more just future. So thank you for holding the space. And I'm really looking forward to what emerges from this. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Liz.
Well, thank you so much, Fortunate.